home is so important. So right now, this is home for me. Regardless that I'm sleeping on the floor or whatever it is, maybe this is what it is. It's home. 100%. We're humans. Well, how can I help you if I have nothing to help you with? If I'm depressed, if I'm sad, if I'm angry, I cannot help you. I have all these issues across me. If I don't have a kitchen, if I'm not happy, I'm nobody. I can't help anybody. I didn't sleep in a basement when I was 18 or 19, or when I was 21 and left the country. Left my son when he was a baby, to travel, just to come back and work for a big franchise restaurant. I mean, there's no chef that look at it. Some of the great legends, Ferran Adria, René Redzepi, Thomas Keller, and be like, oh, one day I want to be like those guys. But then the money part come along. It's like, oh, it's like, I can't. It's a sacrifice. It's a true sacrifice. That's why I think people have to understand that's why you pay a high price. Here you're not paying a high price. Here you're paying a very humble price. Because my main thing is for the customer to understand that they get a value. And if you want more, I can give you more. We have one dish that have a little bit of Brazilian, a little bit of Venezuelan, and a touch of Mexican flavor. A dish that have a little bit of Peruvian with a touch of Venezuelan flavor. So keeping the authenticity of the flavors, adding another flavors on top. It's a fusion of flavors. We're showcasing everything from all over Latin America. So creativity. Where I met Mark, I work in an electric stove, very tiny electric stove. The power went off every time in the middle of a busy service. You have to go to the woman's washroom, knock the door, make sure to bring the power back on. Right now, my restaurant is no difference. I have 2 beautiful camping stoves. They're great. And an electric stove on the back. You don't need to be a chef to cook. You don't need all kind of equipment. You just need this and salt. That's it. So basically, where I grew up, my mom made an oven. We made an oven with concrete, just put bricks, get it hot on the bottom, and you make a bread. Stoves were made, gas. We break apart pieces of barbecues and make stoves with it. So it's not new for me. So when I went to Europe, I had the chance to do research for some of the best restaurants in the world. And why they picked me was the part that I can do anything with anything. I'm not scared to eat anything. So imagine, I'm from Venezuela. This is beautiful whole food. How could you not be creative? My country, the chefs left all the accolades, all the ego, because a lot of chefs live with ego, to make sure everybody eats, to make sure people have food, to make sure they use the power of being the best chefs of anywhere, to make sure Children's Hospital gets food. There are some foundations out there right now. Just last week, there is a law that got passed on my country that if you have any Instagram,
that you take any photo of any cop or anything, they can take it as a national offense. You go for jail for 5 years.
What? So, how could you not be creative with that?
You give me a rice, I make it the best rice you can ever have. Why? Because I have a necessity to eat. In 1984, I never forget. I don't know if you were broke, but it was a shortage of milk, and we had to make milk. I want my cereal. Mom made this milk. She got blended rice, and it's like, oh, I have to eat this. This tastes like nothing. You know, I moved here. A couple years later, I started seeing rice milk. Oh God, I remember when I had this. It's horrible. You know, but you look back. You know, I had to eat rice milk because it was a shortage of milk where I grew up. So, how do we go from that to this? It's basically the same. I used to use liquid nitrogen and a good KitchenAid.
Where I grew up, to have ice cream is a luxury. Okay?
Because if you're on an ice cream cart and you go up, the favelas or where the poor cities and people that's from Latin America, they know, you either A, get robbed, your ice cream is gone. So these guys have ice and they shave it, and all those natural fruit flavors that grow in the country, they put it on top, a little bit of milk, boom, you're good to go.
Shave ice. It's delicious. They have it all over Latin America, Asia as well.
Why cooking? Basically, we all need to eat.
I had a necessity. I just end up falling in love with my necessity. So every career you get a choice
of what you want to do. Of course, you don't want to be a chef because you're from bad to worst in what we call the third world country
in Latin America. So basically, if you're a chef, you're nobody. You have to be a doctor, engineer, something. My family, my mother and sister left everything, sold everything. When I mean everything, even my little square TV that used to come out of a radio, where I watched the NBA finals, that was really great. You know, I watched Michael Jordan score that last shot. For me to move here, I got into a cooking competition, and I got accepted into the Cordon Bleu. While I was in the Cordon Bleu,
it was a French chef, obviously, it's Le Cordon Bleu. And they have no filter. We step into the class and everything, you know, hollandaise was broken, you have mayonnaise broken, and the guy said, you have to fix it. If you're going to be a chef, you have to fix it because a restaurant rely on your food cost.
What you're going to have. So we have to fix it. I fixed all my ingredients were fixed in 5 minutes. Everybody struggled. Next, I move on and other ingredients, all this stuff. I was making bread when I was 16. Oh, I got the old stuff. Yeah. So basically, these guys, the chef saw something on me very special, and he said, "Why don't you grab the money from the scholarship and travel and leave? French. You don't want to do anything here. Go to Europe. Go to the States. Canada doesn't have anything for you." True story. Okay? I look back at history. You know, we have Steve Jobs. We have a lot of, Fords. And everybody just drop at school. I said, I'm not dropping school. It's important for me to go to school. That's the way we was brought up. You have to graduate. This guy's like, don't be an idiot. Leave. You're making bread. These junkies these kids don't know how to do anything. You can clean a fish. Why? Because when I was a kid, I had to go fishing, clean my fish to eat. I had to make bread. At 8 years old, I was getting my starter. 8 years old, boy making starter, so we can all eat. Fermentation now is the biggest trend. Eating insects, if it wasn't for René Redzepi, nobody would eat it. The list goes on. Finding what to eat is very important. So yeah, I took the advice, I grabbed the money, and I took off. And believe me, I got to meet the most wonderful people in the world. Very emotional. Massimo Bottura was here in 2012. Nobody had a clue who he was. Absolutely no one. The second best chef in the world on that year, my chef, nobody knew. Now he have a book, it's on Netflix. Everybody know about the guy. Elena Arsene on top, Juan Marie, his father, and Kike da Costa, one of the most creative guys I know. The history between these two, especially to Juan Marie Arsec, is because if anybody knows food and El Bulli, if it wasn't for Juan Marie Arsec, El Bulli would have never existed. Nobody knows that. Because he never worked for him. He worked for others. He said recipes are meant to be shared, not to keep. Why are you going to keep a recipe? I came here, when I moved here, I went to knock everybody and was like, everybody looked at me like a crazy, oh, who's this guy? This guy's crazy, I just came with a European mentality where you come in, say hi to everybody, and be happy. I wasn't very welcome. I figured, well, Vancouver is very uptight. So, Carlos Garcia, my very good friend, he wrote me yesterday a beautiful note. He says, in Venezuela, all of us had to transform the cuisine, have to leave the ego, have to leave everything to make sure we use smaller sources to eat. Starch, more starch than meat, but you're eating in an alto restaurant. Unfortunately, they feel disgusted that the only people that go to that restaurant are politicians. A third world country, how you say it, we have many. We have Mexico, Peru, Brazil, Colombia. But guess what? They're the list of best restaurants in the world. Can you ask me a question? Can you give me, I always say, like, why is in Canada on the best list of the restaurants in the world? And I'll tell you why. With the lack of support. We get zero support. If you're not a friend of somebody or XXX, you get zero support from the tourism. You get zero support from the people. If you don't have a name, you're basically a nobody. And I telling you from my own experience. Because when I came in, I got nobody. I have to earn my respect from Mark. If you would have never went to this guy came and it's like, oh, if you, from Alexander Gill, one of the top writers in the city, and so others. I mean, when she came, the waitress screwed up. So I took that table and I started cooking for her. And that's it. My job did the job. I didn't need a PR. I didn't need anything. My job speaks to itself. But sometimes you get overshadowed by the people that have more power than you, and you end up on the bottom. So, moving away from that, I discovered Vancouver. Good gastronomy note, sounded appealing, welcoming, work hard to be where I am right now. The terroir and the high amount of ingredients that are yet to be discovered. If you knew what you can eat when you go to, don't eat anything on Stanley Park because it's all pesticide, FYI. If you just walk up to the mountain anywhere, there are tons of mushrooms, tons of wood, tons of greens that people don't even know about it. Okay? I laugh a lot when I go to farmer's market and I see purslane, I see sea asparagus, I see mushrooms that are growing on your backyard. I say, something that we have today is the dandelion. And you paying $12 for it? Don't be lazy. Pick it up. Where I live, so I have to travel a lot. I went to Asia. I live in Thailand for 1 year in Phuket, in a Thai boxing camp. I won a fight with a broken rib. It was great. Never give up. I always have the mentality that I work harder than others. That's not easy for me. I'm overworked right now, but it's okay. I'm here in the morning. I was before everybody else. And that's my set of mind. You cannot beat me. Never. When everybody sleep and rest, I'm working to get ahead of you. Just remember that. If it's any chef, and I know I don't feel good. I don't think I'm never good. I will never be good. I can always be better. Okay. So the creative morning, so I think I put a little bit small about the creativity. I have to be creative. If you come to Cacao, you can see the camping stove. I made a salamander out of panini grill, It's great. The food that come out, people is blown away. It's all technique. I mean, in Europe, we had 50 cooks from all over the world to do one dish. So imagine, I don't have 50 cooks, I have 2. And I said 3 because Marcela can cook, my business partner. Pedro as well, he's here. He's from O5T. He knows. The way I worked with him on the past, it was give me an ingredient and make for it. Grant can tell you about it. What you want from whole food? Just give me 3 stuff. I make something with it. Easy. Just like that. So I made Grant brought me whole food, provided me with celery root, with dandelions that you can find ridiculously everywhere. The roots are known for help with cancer, if you didn't know that. Do research, people. You have internet. When I moved here, I went to a restaurant and they asked me if I ever work on a fine dining restaurant. Meanwhile, I work on 3 of the best restaurants in the world. But I'm not going to throw names. I'm not like that. I didn't come here to feed on my chef's success. I came here to succeed for myself. That's what being creative for me is. That's what being creative is. Succeed for yourself and who you are. Don't feed on somebody else. If you ever have bee larva, it's delicious. It's an enhancer of flavor for any dairy. Ice cream is a concentrated flavor of walnut and hazelnut and steroids. It's ridiculously strong. In an ice cream, it's delicious. But you don't eat it because it's a larva. We have an ice cream. We went and picked up ants. I said, we're going to feed ants to the restaurant? Yeah, we're going to feed ants. So we made an ice cream with sorrel, which also grows everywhere. Okay? You can go to the mountain. It's so many different types of sorrel. You'll be surprised. Tastes like green apple. And then we asked the customer if you like to taste the ants. 100% of the customers say yes. So yes, people are willing to try stuff. You just need the cojones to put it out there. Right? I live in Europe. I'm almost done because I want you guys to have a good discussion. I live in Europe, and when I came in, it's like, oh, wow. I thought we have an ocean here. We only sell 3 fish. Halibut, salmon, silverfish. Are you kidding me? You have sometimes rockfish, but the rockfish is a low-grade fish. Why? You know that you can eat anemones? You know how many anemones are in the ocean right now? They're delicious, but nobody knows that. When I came here, it was percebes, which is gooseneck barnacle. Barnacles. Oh my God. I try hard to find it. And then all of a sudden became the trend. And then after the trend, everybody got tired. And nobody sold barnacles anymore. There's so many stuff to eat. There is sturgeon in the Sunshine Coast where the Northern Divine caviar. That's my favorite fish. Not only because you can do whatever. You can throw it on a barbecue and cook it like beef. Because it contains a gelatin that if you, for any religious reason, or you're a pescatarian, you can actually make a gelatin out of it. Okay? The skin is like pig. You can have chicharron as well. So when I cook the head, it melts into nothing because it's all cartilage. So you can make a demi-glace just the same way as you make a veal stew with it. So discovering new ingredients is very important. You gotta go out there and please don't be shy to go to Whole Foods and pick up something and shoot me a text, a direct message on the Instagram. Send me an email. I have shared recipes for a lot of chefs. Recipes are meant to be shared. Remember that. I'm with that vision. I'm not going to pocket a recipe because this is mine. No, I'm going to give it away. Okay? So let you all discuss. We go from there.
Who has some provocative, compelling, really? Victoria Gray.
You set me up here. Our group was talking about the idea of success, and somehow that was something that your discussion with us spawned, and we were curious about what your own personal definition of success is.
For me, success, I don't think even if I'm high as accolade, I still be successful. It's a ego feeding kind of stuff. That's for me what success. I want to be successful by helping others. A good example is my chef Massimo Bottura have food for thoughts for feeding the children and the poor people. Carlos Garcia have the Big Belly. He's cooking in New York. He's been in New York this Saturday. He's doing something to help the Children's Hospital back home. They're very successful. I think that's for me is being successful, helping others. Not achieving a goal just because, I'm the owner of Apple. I don't think Steve Jobs will never be happy with his work. He's always look for something. He's never enough. So any creator that is like that, he will never be successful, no matter how successful you are. If that answered the question.
I saw a hand.
What food, you said you like to find foods that other people haven't thought of. I was thinking of Maslow's hierarchy of needs when you were talking. And in our group, we were talking about how we kind of take things for granted. You know that we can go to a store and get everything we want. Yeah. What's something that you've seen somebody use that you would never have thought that you could have put in a recipe? I know you're really creative, but there must have been something.
There's nothing that I haven't researched. There is a root that grows on the Amazon that I had that tastes delicious. We have a Mexican or Latin American cinnamon that is, when the wood dries, it looks like a cigar, perfectly rolled. I'm still finding stuff here, so it's been really hard to say like one specific ingredient. So that root specifically that grows on the Amazon is in the mud. And when you open it, you eat it like a papaya or something. It's a root. It's delicious. It looks gross, but it's delicious. So don't be afraid to try anything new. That's all I'm saying.
What is your foil, though? Like, what's the ingredient you struggle to use well? I have a few that I really can't get a handle on.
You see, there is no... to be creative, you have to fail. So for me, I have failed 100 times, be up 200, so I'm overcome that failure. So It's all about research. In the fridge and the restaurant, we have ideas, ingredient, and research. Okay, it's on the fridge. And Tuesday, we do something that called Imaste. Imaste for us in Europe was basically research. Why can I eat an ant? Why can I eat that ant and not that one? Why can I eat that bug? There's something called wood shrimps. It's delicious. I'm pretty sure you all saw it. They look like little, no, they're not like termites. They're like gray. If you go in the forest, they're always there. There's like delicious shrimp. Like when you toast the shrimp, if you toast the shrimp with the shell on, that's exactly how it tastes. But you won't eat it because it's a bug. But if you research all the way back, you will see you've been eaten before. Yeah.
Can you tell us the story behind naming your restaurant Cacao?
That's a good question. So basically, cacao, because everybody thinks chocolate, and that again is that's how far you know about cacao. Cacao before was chocolate, it was food because it comes out of a fruit. You spit the seeds, and then you eat the fruit, and then after that it became a currency. Did you know cacao had a currency? It was like gold. And I think the Belgium and the French, that would you say, oh, Belgium chocolate. You cannot find a cocoa tree in Belgium. I've been there. So don't bullshit yourself. I was a pastry chef, and I got thrown around because I like flowers and stuff, and like my chef called me Fifi. Hey Fifi, come make it pretty. I went to see my chef. He's 85 years old when I was. And he said, "You've been the most amazing guy I've seen." Because I can do pastry and I can savory. Not everybody can do both. It's really hard. But yeah, cacao was because it represents Latin America. When the Spaniards find it and they found that, the French feed on it, everybody feeds, so it became a currency. Other question?
What gets you excited when you wake up in the mornings?
Coffee. After the coffee, you know what? I think I wake up every phone ring, say hello. So I've something that I'm working on. If I'm working on a certain ingredient, something that I'm failing on, like when I was working with sturgeon. I did a whole sturgeon dinner, and I had Chef Robert Clark and veggies, and I give them a dessert made out of panna cotta with the sturgeon gelatin. They fell off the chair. So before I could make that one, that made me excited every morning because I fell a lot of times. So a lot of stuff went to staff meal. Yeah. Other question?
I had a question. How does the evolution of what we know more about our food and how the food that we eat affects the ecology that we're in and sustainability, how has that been affecting your cooking?
There is, I think, what's affecting the cooking is the big companies. I'm going to be honest with you. Why? Because you can go to any big company, you ask them where the lettuce or the beef come from, a box. I can guarantee you that. So if you go to any small restaurant, they can tell you where the lettuce and the meat come from. So that's the biggest problem we have. I remember when I was in San Sebastian, they were going to do a McDonald's on the 31 of August Street, a big street in San Sebastian, super busy. The guy bought the building, didn't say that he was going to open a McDonald's. It was the biggest revolution. They said, if you open a McDonald's, we will burn it down. There is one McDonald's in San Sebastian, ladies and gentlemen, and it's empty. There is one Starbucks, and it's empty. In Macedonia, the biggest claim of fame, in Macedonia, the biggest claim of fame, the biggest claim of fame was they kicked out McDonald's out of the country. So when you go eat, I will encourage you to ask your server where your food comes from. And if he can tell you, and look at him in the eye and tell you where it comes from, you're eating well. I think that's the biggest issue. Yes? Yes?
How did you get the name Jefferson?
I don't know. If I knew, my mom, like I wish I knew. I think they wanted me to be here before that. Like if you can call him Jefferson, we can put him on a boat or something.
It doesn't sound like a very Venezuelan name.
Kind of like Tarzan, they put him on the basket and he went in and the monkeys grab it. I don't know.
One more killer question. Who feels really strongly about something? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong are you?
Give 3 questions.
Three quick questions.
I spoke very short, so everybody can ask me questions.
I have a question regarding healthcare in our industry, that being restaurants. My 2 passions in life have always been health and food. I want to see a shift in the culinary culture in Vancouver, not just Vancouver, but in the world. And I've been working with chefs in the city right now to change their movement quality, change how they really act during service. And I've been able to produce some awesome change in them. And I was curious, in your opinion, do you think that's something that could benefit the lives of our chefs, of our restaurateurs throughout the world?
Basically, I tell you what. I am the coolest guy in the online. The coolest. I keep my cool no matter how the shit goes down. And you know why? Because when I was fighting, I had a broken rib. I have to overcome that stuff. When I never sat down. I never sat down after a round because I always wanted to look tough, even when I was hurt. Never showed defeat. I always keep strong-minded. I think there will be a lot of things that can help the chefs around the city. But the biggest help we need, and I'm speaking for myself, is community help. Because people don't understand. You go to Whole Foods, but you don't understand Whole Foods goes pick a single ingredient that you probably paid $20 for. It's like, oh, it's $20. But they're going through a lot to get that single ingredient. The amount of work that I do a dish is insane. So I don't charge a high amount of price. It's like I charge what people can eat. And it's important to everybody have to eat. Everybody, if people come and they're vegan, they want to do a tasting menu, I do it. Is a lot of stuff that you can change with chefs in the city, but the biggest help we need is community. More support into the smaller. It's tough. When I moved here, people were making fun of the biggest chain, and now they're working there because they're the only one that can afford you, and that's extremely sad. Because there's a lot of talent that's being wasted. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. That was